Well, hello, this is Ryan Michael Galloway, and I'm with Keith Rust, and we're here at Crystal Clear Sound Studios in Dallas, Texas. The reason I wanted to bring everybody in to meet you, Keith, and to see the studios, this is a large-scale studio. I mean, I know there's probably some out there that are bigger, but
sure. This
is a really good-sized studio. And if you had virtually everything you wanted to have in a studio, it would be here. Especially the size of the rooms. But right now we're back in the control booth, and if you remember a couple posts ago, we showed you where that was located. In fact, it might have been last night's post. We showed you where that was located. It overlooks the studio, so you can see everything that's going on. But there's a lot going on in here too. Typically you don't mix in here while you're recording. That's what you do after you record everybody. But each instrument that you can group, or however you can possibly get it, goes onto a track. And so you can get as crazy as having a bass drum on one track, and a snare drum on another track, and a hi-hat on another track, and cymbals on another track, so you can control their position in the stereo picture and you control their sound. You can have people grouped together on one track if they're doing background vocals, and maybe group 3 people together on one, and then double them or triple them and spread those out. So there's a couple different ways you can gang people together. And some of that mixing and some of that adjustment might happen while you're recording, but then later on you come back and you do a mix. And you take all those isolated sounds and you've got them each on a separate track, which is represented by each one of these faders, and you have the opportunity to adjust the volume and the tone and effects and all kinds of things. So this looks a little bit like the space shuttle. In fact, it might be a little more complicated looking than the space shuttle. But what else do we have on here? We've got these speakers up to the left and right of me.
Right.
What are those?
Those are Adam. The brand is Adam S3A.
What are they used for?
They're the main monitors.
Okay.
And we can also hang a smaller set of speakers right where you're standing. We have some little stands, and there are a brand of speakers that are pretty ubiquitous in studios called Yamaha NS10s. They used to be. They may not be as much as they were at one time, but they were kind of the standard pair of second speakers. You like to have an alternate reference. So you can listen in the big speakers, which also have a subwoofer in the corner, and those are full bandwidth, full frequency, tear your head off kind of volume. And then you can go down to the smaller speakers for a little bit more of a closer real world reference.
So you want to be able to have big speakers so you can listen to everything full range, but you also want to have a couple small speakers, like Keith was saying, to see what would it sound like in your car stereo or maybe your house stereo. Now, I thought it was interesting that you've got a subwoofer in the corner.
Right.
The reason it's in the corner is because bass doesn't have a whole lot of direction. It just rolls around the room, right?
It is omnidirectional at those frequencies.
So you don't need a left and right on your bass. It's going to be in the middle anyway, to your ear, because very little stop space anyway. Right? It just it's going to roll around and sound like it sounds. So. Well, let's come back for the next post and talk a little bit about this spaceship you're running. Is there any other kind of general familiarization to this that you'd like to? We got the board, we got the 2 speakers.
Right.
I imagine you got a couple honking power amps around here somewhere, but they really don't need to be out where you can reach them.
The speakers are actually self-powered.
Oh, okay.
That is all
awesome.
built in. That's another modern trend.
How many watts?
I'd have to look it up. Enough to be really loud.
Yeah. I know, that people around here seem to lose their hair a little bit. It's probably just coming from just getting blown off, right?
Well, the evolution of speaker design is such that they're built in because it's more efficient. You don't have the chain of
right.
wire from amp to speaker that you have some losses in.
And you got your crossovers probably built right into the speaker, right? So.
Right.
Awesome. And they would most likely be active crossovers, which we talked about biamping and triamping before. These might even be quad amped, who knows. But all right, well, awesome. I am Ryan Michael Galloway with WeDon'tNeedNoStinkingRecordCompany.com, and I've been talking for the last several posts with Keith Rust, and we're at Crystal Clear Sound Studios here in Dallas, Texas. Thanks.